Welcome to this week's meeting of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. The theme of our club is entrepreneurship, innovation, and education. And we use technology to further our goals. This week's meeting is very special because we're focusing on membership in the club. And this week's speaker is someone who is the relatively new member of the club. And we wish to today is to use those themes within our club to deal with the problems of membership, not only in our club, but to start a discussion within the club about membership in Rotary in itself. Now, our president today is unable to be here, but he has sent to me a video to introduce our speaker and one of our newest members of the club. And at this point in time, I will bring up the
This is Andrew Tom, president of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. I'm not able to make it to this recording, but I wanted to introduce Suzanne out of appreciation for doing a presentation so soon after she joined our club in August. It's important for new members to do these presentations because it helps us generate ideas for new potential service projects, even though we're so spread out geographically. So, without further ado, members and guests, Suzanne Van Stralenom works in the field of organization and leadership development. Her focus is on shifting mindsets for both orgs and leaders alike. She is past president of the Rotary Club of North Napa and has served in the district level of 5130, doing Peace Fellow work for the last 5 years. Without further ado, Suzanne, take it away.
Please proceed, Suzanne.
Thank you, Roger. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me, Roger?
Yes, we can.
And is my presentation up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Hey, that's terrific. Oh, I want to thank Andrew for the introduction, and I've been able to chat a little bit with Cecilia and Roger, and that's been a pleasure also. So my name is Suzanne Van Stralenom, and I joined this wonderful club on August the 11th at their fundraiser in the Livermore area. It was a great day, and I got to meet some of the great folks. I'm looking forward to meeting other people internationally. We're going to have a social this afternoon. So this is all very, very exciting. I'm glad to be here. And I feel really honored. First of all, I want to say I feel honored to be a Rotarian, and I feel honored to be part of this club. So I'm going to just breeze right through my presentation. I want to let you know that the first part of it will give you a sense of why I joined Rotary International in particular, and then why I joined this club and what I think are some of the highlights and delights about being a Rotarian. So first of all, just a little bit about me. I'm a California gal. I love to travel. I'm an adventurer. I always have come home though. You know, I'm from Northern California, from San Mateo. I have lived out of state. I've lived in Chicago, I've lived in Maine, and I've lived in the state of Washington. But there's some draw to being back home with my family, and in Northern California, I live in Napa. So I'm an adventurer, and I guess I love to make mistakes because I make them over and over again. So for that reason, I believe that I'm a lifelong learner, and I really rather pattern my life about learning and education. That's one of the areas that drew me to this club. So I'm going to now go to my next slide. We've just gone through this. I have lots of personal interests, as I'm sure many of you do. I have 2 Cavalier King Charles Spaniels who are sitting at my feet right now, and I hope they're going to be very polite and quiet. We'll find out. They have rawhides to chew on. So I love to be outside. I like camping, traveling. I enjoy being with my friends and family, and I hope I get to know all of you a little bit better so I can go into greater depth about this. So anyway, why Rotary? And this first piece about why Rotary, since we're talking about membership, is that I think that Rotary is just this fantastic worldwide organization that brings neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers together. And we get to share ideas. We get to join others and take really important action in the world. And we have an opportunity to create lasting change locally and globally. And for me, joining this club, the integration of these two and having international membership is really important. So I feel really, really blessed to be a member of this club now. We get to create global connections and work on club activities, club projects, and social events. So we have a social event this afternoon, an online social event. It'll be my first online social event. So this is exciting. And of course, Rotary is about humanitarian service. And we focus our work around growing local economies, promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, saving mothers and children, and supporting education. So that's a little bit of globally about Rotary International. And then my Rotary journey. I just wanted to share a little bit about this because we all have our personal journeys. And for me, really my own personal journey is what led me to Rotary. Oh, about 30 years ago, I lost my first husband. He died unexpectedly. And I was supported by a Rotarian who came forward and said, hey, I'd like you to come and work for me and let's, help you make this transition through life. And during that period of time, he would tell me about his Rotary Club. He'd tell me about the wonderful things they were doing in the world. So I tucked that in my memory bank for almost 30 years until I really, a friend here in Napa approached me one day and said, hey, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of North Napa, and I think you'd enjoy being a member. Would you like to come and see what it's all about? So I said, sure. And so I joined to give back and to meet new people. And for me, it's been about service, community, friendship, and fun. So you don't want to forget the fun. And I noticed at the fundraiser, it could have been a fundraiser on August 11th, everybody in this club was having a lot of fun, including me. In my club, my former club, I became president, and I served as the president from 2015 through 2016. And that was really a great honor. It was a lot to learn because I'd only been in the club 3 years, but we all mustered through, and I had terrific support from my club members. I'm going to go into that in the next slide a little bit about a highlight for me. But I want you to know that some of my own passions in being a Rotarian include doing work with the Rotary Peace Fellows and now exploring Mediators Beyond Borders, because there's an alliance between Rotary and Mediators Beyond Borders, I believe. And I think that's very important work locally and globally. And oftentimes clubs include Mediators Beyond Borders when they're doing international work and they can bring that work back locally. Another one of my passions is working with underserved youth. Excuse me. So here I am in an e-club, and technology has not been my strong suit, but I'm fortunate in that one of my business partners is an IT specialist. So he supports me in that. We have different strengths and we accentuate those. So I love adventure, and I'm just jumping into the pool of technology. I am attracted to innovation, to entrepreneurship, and to education. And within this club, I found a new global community, and I'm just thrilled to be here. Excuse me while I take one little drink of water. Thank you. This slide shows you a picture of Rotary International past president, K.R., known as Ravi Ravindran. And he was president of Rotary International during the year when I was president. I found him to be most inspirational, and the theme for his year was Be a Gift to the World. And I think we were able to utilize that theme, and I tried to live up to it, pardon me, and still do. Try. So I'm going to move to another slide. Pardon me. Passions and around entrepreneurship. So I mentioned before that lifelong learning is one of my commitments and passions, as are relationships, learning and contributing with other members. I have a new product coming out related to my consulting and coaching company, and it actually bridges leadership, innovation, education through technology, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So this is thrilling for me to be able to talk about Rotary and also bring that Rotary connection to the work that I do. My work is quite focused on helping people develop their leadership skills and expand their mindsets, their values, and learn truly the skills of collaboration. So it's about expansion of thinking so that we can work with the complexity of this century and innovate with process, products, and technology that integrates, for me, leadership development, mindsets, values, and skills. And I do this with my partner, Dr. Martin Hall. So now I'm going to bridge into, from the Rotary experience, how I think that we are endeavoring in the Compass series is our new innovative product. And I think that there's some potential for use with Rotary in that this product line is for both adults and youth. Okay, so it's based in values, and we utilize a validated set. Actually, this is the book, and it was written by one of my mentors. It's called Values Shift. And unfortunately, he passed away about 3 years ago, but I now continue his work on with his son, Dr. Martin Hall. And what this is about using a framework. He put 50 years of research into this, and this framework has been utilized with over 10,000 people to help folks determine, say, their direction, their alignment, and their commitment to figure out purpose and meaning in life. So that's really how I direct myself right now. So I'm going to move on from this slide. And Roger gave me some questions, and he asked me to answer them during this presentation. And the first one was, how did we use creativity and innovation as principles in starting the Compass series? And so I think it's good that I tell you how we hold both of these, creativity and innovation. And we think of creativity as the capacity or act of conceiving something original or unusual. And to us, innovation is the act of adding value or improving upon something that already existed. So as principles in developing this product, we utilize both of these. because we used this validated framework that Dr. Brian Hall created over 50 years, and we streamlined it. So we hope we've added value by making it less complex. So now let me segue into the next slide. So you might say, so what is this Compass series? What it is it's a developmental process, and you're going to see these bubbles on the screen. So that what we do is we have 5 mindsets that move from what we call initiating to structuring to dynamic to collaborative to collective. And when we work with individuals, teams, and organizations, we're trying to help them gain the thinking and the skill set of collaborative. So I'm going to go on, and I think you'll understand a little bit more as I continue. I hope. It's pretty complex, so you're just getting a bird's eye view today. So Roger asked me, well, how's the Compass series unique, Suzanne? So I have a few answers for you, Roger, right here. It's a simplified developmental learning model. We offer multiple assessment products, and it bridges leadership with transformation. We have a mobile app that we use for it, and it has cross-cultural application that's based in language and culture. So let's go back again to our leadership path. And I'll just give you, I really can't go into depth here, but I'll give you an idea that because this methodology is based in language and culture, when we begin to work with someone and they begin to talk about a problem or an issue that they're having, we're listening for what is the mindset of the problem, or what might be the initial mindset of the person with which we're talking. And so just initially, when we start to, like, this is not our full diagnosis, but if someone is working from an area of frustration or survival, they may be at this time in the initiating mindset. If they seem to be more directive or hierarchical, then they're in the structuring mindset. If they're in chaos, we think they may be in, excuse me, the dynamic mindset. If they're really displaying the skills of collaboration, then they're in the collaboration mindset. And if it looks like they're talking about sustainability, they're in our final mindset. Let me continue with this. I realize this is a lot of information, but I'd like to just share with you that another area that makes us unique is the really strong assessment process that we use. And I won't go into this in great detail today, we just don't have time. But we use 3 tools. We have at the very bottom, we have what we call the VMI, which is a Values Management Inventory, which is an in-depth, it's a long, sustainable change process that's based on the use of 125 values. And this has been used with over 10,000 people. And we get reports back, and we coach people and teams and whole organizations. So that's for someone that really wants to go into depth. Then we have what we call the group VMI, which is group focused. And this is for short to medium term, say, team building. And we therefore get reports that are immediately focused on the team. And then we have the Compass series, which is where we are creative and innovative, in that we took the original VMI and we reduced those 125 into 52 values. And so we have cards in a model, and so that just gives you an overview. Then, what else do we have that might be unique or might be creative? Because we have a mobile app and people can be in there live and can select from these values, we ask them to, and I've done this with whole groups, like 80 people in a room, folks actually get to begin to look at the description of the values clusters, and for personal and team, they can create their own branding emblem. And this they can do online. They then get this emblem and they're able to direct it through social media to other people, to write a story, to write an elevator pitch. So that's one unique offering. And then we also have a team tool. This is just word clouds, but what would appear here if we're working with a group or a team would be the shared values for that team or group. And we can begin to look at their strengths and their limitations. So, Compass series, what distinguishes us from our competition? I'm looking at my notes right now, trying not to take too long, is 50 years of research. We are a theoretical and normative validation of the framework and surveys. We have 3 comprehensive tools. It's useful for dealing with language and culture. It's been used globally with special attention spent on language and meaning. And the tools to be used can help with problem solving. You know, values are so important towards really manifesting the behavior for individuals, teams, and organizations, or the organizational culture, that it's important to spend time on that. And I do a lot of work with underserved youth, trying to help them with purpose and meaning and their decision making, for them to begin to look at making decisions from the inside out is very unique and very powerful. So those are some of the areas that are distinct to us. And because due to technology, our products are scalable. So we think that that's unique also. So if you were to say, well, what are the outcomes that you get, either an individual, a team, or an organization? Because it's the Compass series, and so we try to relay words that fit with that, we're really navigating towards outcome and results, such as for an individual, a group, or the organization, that they have clarity, that they have unity, that there's a sense of transformation, so that some development and movement in those mindsets and the growth of skills occurs, and that out of this alignment and unity will come commitment towards their purpose. I hope this has made sense to you. So now I'm ready to answer any questions. That was a very rapid leap through a complex methodology.
Thank you very much, Susan. You can now stop sharing if you would like.
All right, shall do.
Terrific. That was a very interesting program. Cecilia, do you have any questions of Suzanne?
I do. Oops, pardon the background noise there. So I am, among other things, in the Rotary world, a member of a group called the Cadre of Technical Advisors, and I work really for the Rotary Foundation, conducting reviews and audits of large Rotary grants in the host countries where they take place. And I'm not the only person that does this, but you know, so the foundation sends me out to the project sites to see that the grants are being implemented like they should be, and that the money is all accounted for and things like that. So I've been to a number of sites and projects where there has been a lot of youth development activity going on. And so how would if I were, let's just say, to go to Guatemala to pick a place for no particular reason other than I've been there and seen a project that was a youth development and girls and women's empowerment project. Oops, what happened here? Let me see if I can get you guys back.
Oh, you're still with us,
It was just something my screen did. So how would someone like me, who's not trained in these things, utilize your program in a setting like that?
Well, there'd probably be 2 ways. One would be we could train you.
Right? That probably would be a good idea.
So, you know, we could get you certified, and then you would be able to do this. We, for youth, so we have, I'm holding up here, this is a packet of, this is the full set of 52 what we call beliefs or values and the definitions. For youth, and I have found that it's probably a wiser idea to select one of our pathways. We have 5 pathways. One is the teaming pathway, one is the flourish pathway, one is the diversity pathway, so I would recommend that we would select one pathway. And then there are many different ways that we could do this. You, if you're the person facilitating it, could take a packet of cards for each person, and we would train you about how to begin to work. What you're going to want to do with folks is, values are individual. So you would want to help these people select their own pathway across whatever path we decided was most appropriate for your group, okay?
Okay, so what about the group based on its own cultural and environmental knowledge has to choose their own pathway? Because it may not be the pathway we would choose.
Yes, that's right. Them. And we allow for that. We have other cards that they can add to it. We don't want to norm what people have to do. We just say this is a beginning place. You could use the whole set, or you could use one of our pathways. It depends on folks' sort of attention level and et cetera, et cetera. So there are many different ways that we could set this up. You could set it up around, say, a common challenge that people are involved in. And I usually use something called collaborative inquiry. And we get people looking together at this challenge. And then we get folks to begin to identify their own value set. That's really important. And then if you're working with a group that's working with a challenge, you can create the sort of the group value set. Does that make sense to you? I showed you a word cloud where that could pop up. And they could be looking at, well, these are some of our strengths. These are some of the values and beliefs that we share. But what about these others that aren't in this group? That's where we have very distinct skills that are related for people to practice. Okay? Is this making sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
So we customize according to the group and what's happening. And so we'd have to talk to you and find out, what you want to do. And then if you wanted to be trained, we would train you. You could do this either online, because we do have it set up that people can go in and pick their values individually online, and this group could then work online. Or you could do a mixture or not use online and just use the cards.
Well, and I mean, in those kinds of environments, online is probably not practical.
Yes.
Because they either don't have electricity, they don't have consistent electricity, they don't have computers. But anyway, okay, good. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. This was initially, and we do have this, is available in Spanish. We haven't developed the cards yet, but the initial VMI was available in 5 languages, and Dr. Brian Hall and his partner created this initially in Central America. He was an Episcopal minister working there. So there you go. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you. By the way, that was a loaded question. You'll learn why during the social event.
Okay, then. Suzanne, you've been the past president of a Rotary Club. And you know that membership is a big issue within Rotary. And our club should really have a membership of between 45 and 55 or 60 people. Now, from your experience, how should we, as a club, proceed in terms of raising our membership up to that level?
Oh my goodness. That's a loaded question too, Roger. But so I can tell you from my own experience. It's I focused a lot of attention on membership during the year that I was president. And I had a wonderful membership chair, and he and I and others worked together to foreground membership and to get other members of the club to understand how important this was for our sustainability and our ability to innovate, our ability, to do like this purpose that you have. You need enough energized people to do that. So you might want to ask each person in the club to bring forward the name of at least one person. That's one way, that they think would be a wonderful member of the club.
Well, I hope that within the next week, because we're focusing on membership, that the members will at least talk to at least one person about our club and about Rotary. Because if they did that, then what will happen is that we will grow in membership and get up to that 45 or 55 people that we need in the club so that our club is easily sustainable over the future. Now, and I agree with you to the fact that we need a membership chairperson, and that is a very important role within the club. And it's not only getting new members, which is important, but it's retaining new members. So what are your thoughts on being creative and innovative in regards to retaining new members?
Well, my sense and experience with retaining new members is that if you get people who are engaged and are passionate about some aspect of Rotary, they'll stay in the club. Engagement, passion. So what is it that each person it motivates them towards Rotary? Is there some aspect of Rotary where they would like to contribute?
Then I will ask that question to you. What program or committee would you like to be on in this club?
Well, I've been studying that a little bit, Roger, and I haven't made the final decision, but I'll tell you the three that, I'm interested in working with underserved youth, whether they be local or global. And I also think that I have experience there, and I think I have some processes to offer there. So underserved youth. I'm interested in international projects. One of the reasons that I think this club is so important is that it really does bridge local to global. And that's really vital for me in my Rotary experience. So I would say that I didn't share a story that President Ravindran told, and he was big on membership. And so he told the story about a woodcutter who got a new job and was out trying to cut wood and trying to keep up with his team members, but he couldn't keep up. And he just got really worried. He was eating more food and trying to build his muscles. He did everything he possibly could, but he went to his foreman finally and he said, I think you should let me go because I'm not able to keep up with the other woodcutters that you have here. And the foreman looked at him and he said, well, I've seen you work, I don't think so. He said, I just think you need to sharpen your saw. So Ravi told that really well. But the point being, sharpening our saw as a club and asking questions like you're asking me, and then figure out what are the prioritized ways that we want to sharpen our saw. I think that that's what this is about, and getting people to join in and say, okay, for the next year, I'm committed towards helping my club out and growing our membership. That's what I would do.
Thank you very much, Suzanne. As is the standard part of this program, is that we always let our speaker to give the last word. And so please go ahead and give your final thought to the club on, and particularly on membership.
Okay, well, dear club members, even though I don't know most of you, I'm really looking forward to being a member and working with you. And my last word would be, let's get engaged about membership. Let's each really do our best to work together to grow our membership, because it is vital to our health. And this is such a terrific club with so many opportunities that we really must do this. So you have my commitment, and I'm glad to help in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you.